What's going on, you guys? This is Cooked Vegetables back in here with another podcast for you guys, man. How's everybody doing this weekend? I hope you're doing absolutely amazing wherever you happen to be in the world. The title of today's podcast is going to be Signs You Are Healing from PMO Addiction. Many of us have been there, and by there, I mean the absolute hellscape that is addiction to porn and masturbation. When you are mired in sex addiction, your brain is foggy, your vision is cloudy, and your self-respect is in the gutter. In my experience, this eventually led to devastating consequences such as finding myself entangled with a demonic Jezebel, losing a job, losing my health, and nearly losing my life. At the time, I didn't have any spiritual knowledge. I was just doing what the world was telling me to do, with no understanding of the inevitable consequences. I eventually found myself at the lowest point I had ever experienced, until God looked upon me with mercy. He miraculously showed me the way out of the mess I had inadvertently created in my life. As I healed and got my life back on track in bigger and better ways than before, there were certain signs that helped me know I was on the right track. I will share them with you below. First, better mental health. During my PMO days, my mind was an absolutely vicious beehive that was out of my control. The only things that would quell my mind enough to allow me a decent night's sleep were PMO sessions and/or half a bottle of red wine. Both of these were quick fixes which made things worse in the long term. One of the major changes I noticed on my SR journey was just how much calmer I started to feel. I gradually gained control of my mind and started to use it rather than have it run me. My anxiety and depression gradually lifted, giving me the sense that everything would somehow be okay as long as I stayed the course and obeyed God. Life started to gradually brighten up, and but for a few challenges here and there, which is totally normal, life has continued to get better and better as the days roll on. Next, much more self-control. During my PMO days, I had absolutely no self-control. I talked too much, ate too much junk food, drank too much wine, lusted after too many corrupt women, lost my temper far too often, etc. I could go on, but I think you get the point by now. There is a verse in the Bible that likens a man without self-control to a city without walls. And boy, that described the old me perfectly. As I gained more sexual self-control with the help of the Almighty Father, I gradually gained more control over other aspects of my life. I gradually learned to speak only when absolutely necessary. I became much more unflappable. I cleaned up my diet and found it easier to resist junk food. This increased level of self-control gave me an increased level of self-confidence, which helped me carry myself in a much more assured way. Next, better memory. This one was definitely an unexpected benefit, but I started realizing that I could remember things a lot easier than in my Kuma days. Also, old and long forgotten memories started flooding back into my consciousness. On many occasions, I would suddenly recall a pleasant memory that occurred a decade ago, which would bring a smile to my lips and brighten my day. Before retention, I had an absolutely shocking memory. The difference after retention was night and day. Lastly, sharper mind and increased productivity. When I was at my lowest point after PMO, I was literally spending entire days on the floor of my apartment, paralyzed with despair. My health was a mess and I was depressed, which basically meant I had zero motivation to do anything. As I gradually cleaned up my sexual addiction and my poor eating habits, I started to feel motivated again. This sense of motivation continued to build and build as time went on. Now, I have founded a company which I have been building over the past 2 to 3 years while finding time to write articles and record YouTube videos consistently. I am pretty convinced that I'd still be stuck on my apartment floor had I not found SR and masculine purity. Please note that there are other signs that show you are recovering outside what I have listed above. Keep going, brothers, for there is light at the other end of this tunnel. Till next time, Godspeed and remain blessed. Brother Cooked.